Part 75. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 741. What? There is news about great-grandpa. Su Yang was immediately overjoyed and asked hurriedly, "Where is my great-grandfather now?" Elder brother didn't say anything, he just told me that after the spiritual energy is revived, the world will be in chaos, and extraterrestrial beings will fully invade the earth. Su King I continued, "At that time, the Master will be reborn, powerful outside the region, and bring order to the chaos." That's it, it's quite mysterious. Su Yang showed a smile, and then asked, "Where is Ximan Fenjiun now, and your other junior brothers, why didn't they return to Kunlun now that they found my great-grandfather?" "According to senior brother, they are protecting Master, and Master's cultivation seems to have reached the most critical moment." Su King I responded. Su Yang asked with concern, "Dharma protector? Is it dangerous?" "Not sure." Su King I said truthfully, "I learned from senior brother that Master is still sleeping and has not woken up." Wang Yangming, the old master of Tianji sect, is also there. It was Wang Yangming who told senior brother that Master will be the key figure to bring order to the chaos. Su King I added. Su Yang nodded and said, "Wang Yangming can divine secrets and see a corner of the future. Since my great-grandfather will correct chaos in the future, it is naturally safe now. Next, I will start planning for the revival of spiritual energy. I believe no one can stop the revival of spiritual energy. First, although the Yanlong Immortal Emperor wanted to prevent the spiritual energy from reviving, Su Yang learned that if the Yanlong Immortal Emperor wanted to come to the earth, he needed to seize the moment when the earth's protective formation was weak during the beginning of the spiritual energy recovery, so that he could travel through it in his soul state. Passing through the endless void, he was reborn in the body of Mr. Fengzi. This means that the Flame Dragon Immortal Emperor will not prevent the spiritual energy recovery from starting. Certainly, the recovery of spiritual energy does not happen overnight, but requires a process. After the Flame Dragon Immortal Emperor comes to Earth, he will definitely not watch the spiritual energy recovery begin. In fact, his biggest purpose in coming to Earth is to prevent the spiritual energy from reviving, lest the cultivators on Earth become too powerful and beyond his control. However, after Immortal Emperor Yanlong came to Earth, Su Yang would lure him away and let Jing Ke under Jufeng Mountain deal with him. Therefore, Su Yang did not have to worry too much about Immortal Emperor Yanlong. In addition to the Flame Dragon Immortal Emperor, there are also several extraterrestrial masters on Earth. Mr. Fengzi, Kui Long, Crimson Hongyu, and so on, and by the way, there was also a man named Qinghai. Su Yang was deeply impressed. According to Scarlet Hongyu's previous explanation, when the spiritual energy revives and the Earth's guardian formation weakens, Immortal Emperor Yanlong will notify Qinghai and ask Qinghai to kill Master Fengzi, and then Immortal Emperor Yanlong can easily be reborn. It can be seen from this that Qinghai has the strength to defeat Master Fengzi, which is enough to prove that this person is not simple. As for Su Yang, the strongest person is himself. In addition to him, there is also Wu Qingying, the number one person in the ancient martial arts world. However, Wu Qingying is recovering from his injuries in seclusion, and it must be difficult to recover in a short time. Furthermore, Guo Yi, who had a cleaning fan, could barely compete with an outside expert by forcefully activating the cleaning fan. But this seems trivial. After all, there are many foreign masters. Even if Guo Yi stops one person, it will be difficult for Su Yang to deal with other foreign masters. It would be great if Guo Yi, the master of Suanwei who taught Guo Yi's methods, came to Jiangbei in person, and there would be nothing to fear from Mr. Fengzi and others. In addition to Master Suanwei, the Earth has other preparations. It stands to reason that the Earth's current strength is not weak. Su Yang shook his head and smiled bitterly. "It's a pity that they can't take action, otherwise they will become the target of public criticism and accelerate the destruction of the earth. Some things can be guessed at a glance. When immortal Emperor Yanlong was on earth, he searched all over famous mountains and rivers, but could not find those quasi-emperors. When the spiritual energy was about to be revived, the Yanlong immortal emperor, knowing that there was still a quasi-emperor on the earth, sent 10 people to the earth to prevent the spiritual energy from reviving, and even asked them to cause trouble on the earth and sweep across the ancient martial arts world. Isn't it clear that those 10 people were used as temptations? The purpose was to lure out the quasi-emperor. Although Su Yang didn't know what the Yanlong immortal emperor had to do, as long as the quasi-emperor of the earth showed up to deal with those at the peak of nascent soul, there was a high probability that he would not be able to escape the Yanlong immortal emperor's pursuit. Once the quasi-emperor died, the earth lost its strong support. The earth has a protective formation, and the flame dragon immortal emperor cannot enter the earth at its peak. If he came to earth, his realm would be suppressed and he would become a quasi-emperor. If the quasi-emperor of the earth is still there, even if the Yanlong immortal emperor has the chance, he would not dare to come to the earth rashly, otherwise he will be besieged. Many earth quasi-emperors take action at the same time, and the right time, place, and people may not be able to suppress the Yanlong immortal emperor. But if the quasi-emperor of the earth exposes his whereabouts in order to kill several foreign nascent soul masters, it will definitely be a great good thing for the Yanlong immortal emperor. Certainly. This was the previous structure of the world, but now that the earth has a transcendent and powerful Jinkei, there is no need to worry about the earth anymore. It stands to reason that even if the whereabouts of the earth's quasi-emperor are exposed now, it will not cause any harm. Someone has already suppressed the Yanlong immortal emperor. But there is one thing that is more difficult to deal with, and that is Jinkei's state. Sometimes he is good, and sometimes he is possessed and unpredictable. This is an unstable factor, so Su Yang cannot release him from Jufeng Mountain rashly, lest it cause a catastrophe. Forget it, let's take it one step at a time. Everyone is planning, it just depends on whose game is done well. Su Yang raised a playful smile on his lips, turned to look out the window and murmured to himself, however, I have to add some variables. It is necessary to leave one teleportation gate in Kunlun Mountain, so that I can quickly travel through Jufeng Mountain. Jiangbei, Kunlun Mountain, between the three places. With this in his mind, Su Yang looked at Su Qing'ai next to him and said, Su Qing'ai, you go and wait outside. Come with me to Jiangbei later. I have something to do at the Starry Sky Ancient Road. Yes, Su Qing'ai responded respectfully. Su Yang nodded, and then the figure suddenly disappeared. A few minutes later, he came to the place where the Starry Sky Ancient Road was, sat cross-legged, made secrets with his hands, and began to arrange the portal. It didn't take long for the portal to take shape, emitting a faint light. In order to reduce unnecessary trouble, Su Yang arranged a hidden formation to hide the portal. After doing all this, he did not stay here too long, but went to the other side to see the Earth's protective formation. At this moment, Su Yang stood alone on the outside of the guarding formation, looking at the golden beam of light reaching the sky in front of him, muttering to himself, I heard Jinkei mention it before that this formation is called the Chaos Aurora Formation. It is really terrifying. If you can control this formation, I'm afraid not to mention the Quasi-Emperor, even the Immortal Emperor can be wiped out in an instant. Su Yang smiled bitterly and said, unfortunately, the Chaos Aurora Array is extremely complex and powerful. With my current state, I am not even qualified to comprehend it. The Void Tower can withstand the pressure of the Chaos Aurora Array, it must be because of the black and yellow mother energy in it. Su Yang continued, this is a good result. Others can't get close. It is said that even the Flame Dragon Immortal Emperor can't get close, but I can enter the range of the Light Pillar. If I encounter a strong opponent in the future and I can't compete with him, I can enter the Light Beam range to avoid my enemies. Thinking of this, Su Yang showed a smile. This is a ready-made refuge. After carefully looking at the tens of thousands of chaos aurora arrays, Su Yang met Su King Ai at the foot of Kunlun Mountain. The two found Wu Feng, flew into the sky in a helicopter, and shuttled through the clouds. Target, Jiangbei. At the same time, people from all sides are also rushing towards Jiangbei. The revival of spiritual energy is imminent, and cultivators across the earth cannot remain calm. Especially cultivators in the fake elixir realm are extremely eager for the revival of spiritual energy. They hope that the spiritual energy recovery will be successful more than anyone else. Because the fake elixir realm has been accumulated for many years and explodes. Once the spiritual energy is revived, their realm is very likely to advance by leaps and bounds. It is not difficult to step into the nascent soul realm. Especially for the 9 turns false pill, every cultivator who has set foot in this realm has experienced 8 or 9 lives and deaths. Their understanding of the realm is far beyond the current level, and the spiritual energy in their bodies is extremely pure. It's just that due to bad luck, they couldn't go any further, but if the spiritual energy is revived, they may be able to reach the peak of nascent soul, or even become gods. There is a world of difference between transforming gods and fake elixirs. Which 9-turn fake elixir doesn't expect to achieve the realm of divine transformation and increase lifespan. So, all local forces on earth went to Jiangbei this time with the intention of safeguarding the recovery of spiritual energy. Even if they had a deep hatred for each other before, they would unite and work together to create a new glory for the earth, allowing the majestic spiritual energy to fill every corner of the earth. Certainly, the revival of spiritual energy has little to do with the ancient martial arts world. In addition, the ancient martial arts revolution has just started for half a year. Except for Wu Qingying, no powerful ancient warriors have been born. Therefore, many forces in the ancient martial arts world did not send anyone to Jiangbei. Regarding spiritual energy recovery, they are selectively blind, pretend not to know, and ignore the matter as it has nothing to do with them. Among the known quasi-emperors of the earth are Gui Guzi, the real person of Suanwei, Bai Qi, the god of death, and Shang Yang who holds the book of Lord Shang. In Di Gutsi continued to stay in his valley, seemingly not worried about the coming bloody storm in Jiangbei. However, Bai Qi holds the heavenly halberd and Shang Yang holds the Shangjun book, and they are already lurking in Jiangbei. They did not take action, but entered the city as ordinary people and experienced modern urban changes. Mr. Fengzi, Mr. Su, and Mr. Qinghai have also arrived in Jiangbei. They are holding back and secretly looking for the place where the spiritual energy recovery will start. They want to prepare early. As for Kui Long, Crimson Hongyu did not show up. In addition to these people, there is another person on earth who has quietly reached the peak of nascent soul. This person said that Jun Wu appeared in Wudang Mountain half a year ago. Jun Wu was originally a member of the Duanmu family. Because he did not want to see the Duanmu family become puppets outside the territory, he turned against the Duanmu family and joined Lejun Mountain. His cultivation talent is very astonishing. When the 100 sects competed in martial arts, he hid his strength and deliberately lost to the old poison Lin Yuan. Later, Jun Wu and Nangang Yin of the Nangang family joined forces to organize the reform of Gewu. In fact, he was just pretending at that time, otherwise with his strength, he could sweep the entire field, and nothing could stop him. Even if Su Yang uses Wudang Mountain's 5 elements chain formation, it will definitely not be able to do anything to him. Because at that time, Jun Wu had already entered the 8th level fake elixir. Right? 8th turn fake elixir. Jun Wu has received top-notch training since he was a child, and his talent is astonishing. He is known as the unique talent that the Duanmu family has not produced for thousands of years. Of course, this is not enough for the 30-year-old to break the golden elixir so many times. The reason why Jun Wu is so tyrannical has something to do with the owner of Lejun Mountain. Although Lejun Mountain is an ancient martial arts force, the owner of Lejun Mountain is a powerful cultivator. It was precisely because of the protection of the old mountain master that Junwu was not hunted down after he turned back to the Duanmu family. The old mountain master saw that Junwu was extremely talented and that he was already in his twilight years, so he tried his best to help Junwu in his cultivation. Junwu did not disappoint the old mountain master. After setting foot on the elixir, it was immediately broken, and then the golden elixir was condensed, broken, condensed, broken. He once achieved an unprecedented feat, breaking the golden elixir 5 times in a row in 1 year. In short, Junwu's cultivation talent is top-notch. When he went to Wuodane Mountain, he was guided by the master of Lejun Mountain to ask for a treasure from the master of Tianji sect. But Wuodane Mountain was too chaotic at that time, so Junwu didn't mention it, but he didn't leave either. After Wuodane Mountain returned to calm, he found Wan Konggyun, the leader of the Tianji sect. This matter was agreed upon by Wan Yangming, the old master of the Tianji sect, and the old mountain master. Junwu came with the token and naturally succeeded in obtaining the treasure. And that treasure is a quasi-emperor sword named Chenying, which possesses supreme power. As the quasi-emperor's most precious treasure, the shadow-sharing sword can naturally suppress evil spirits. Junwu spent some time to collect the shadow Chenying sword. Subsequently, he took one step forward and reached the peak of nascent soul. Every move he made was accompanied by terrifying pressure. Before his death, the old mountain master told me to cooperate with the old sect master Wan Yangming to help revive the spiritual energy. Naturally, I will not let him down. Jiangbei, I'm here. The descendants of the Su family don't know how strong you are now. If you can't carry the banner of the earth's cultivation forces, then I'm sorry, I will carry it for you. Junwu held the wine gourd in his hand and poured a sip of wine into his mouth. Then he stepped on the shadow-bearing sword and turned into a rainbow light soaring into the sky. Flying with a sword is exclusive to sword cultivators. Original. Junwu has just stepped into the nascent soul realm, and it is still quite laborious to fly with a sword for a long time. Because the earth's spiritual energy is thin, it is impossible to quickly replenish and restore the consumed spiritual energy. But the Chenying sword at Junwu's feet was a quasi-emperor's most precious treasure, and flying with the sword was a matter of course. The other side. Su Yang and Su Qing'ai took a helicopter and planned to head to Jiangbei, but on the way they suddenly remembered that their grandfather and many ancient martial arts masters were still imprisoned in the Shangguan family. Now there are still 2 days before the spiritual energy is revived, and it is more than enough to get to Jiangbei. Therefore, after thinking about it, Su Yang decided to visit the Shangguan family first, and then go to Jiangbei. Su Qing'ai knew Shangguan Wuyuan, the current head of the Shangguan family, and naturally knew the position of the Shangguan family. Under Su Qing'ai's guidance, Su Yang and his party arrived at the Shangguan family the next morning and stepped out of the helicopter. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 742. At this moment. Shangguan family, conference hall. Many of the Shangguan family's management were sitting together for a meeting. Everyone looked unhappy. It was obvious that they had just experienced a fierce quarrel. Uncle, what happened in Jufeng Mountain attracted everyone's attention. Master Fengzi was beaten and fled, Kui Long lost half of his dragon body, Qi Hongyu was imprisoned, Ji Feng died on the spot, and was killed by Su Yang, a descendant of the Su family. At this time, Shangguan Wuyuan said seriously, the masters from outside the region have suffered heavy losses now. Why can't we let go of the ancient martial arts masters in the underground secret prison? Wuyuan, how many times have I told you, what do you know? The power outside the territory is not something our earth can compete with. Shangguan Wuyuan's uncle, Shangguan Wugen looked at Shangguan Wuyan and said solemnly, although I was not present at the scene about Jufeng Mountain, I heard some rumors. The descendant of the Su family, Su Yang, is just opportunistic. He took advantage of the internal strife among Mr. Fengzi and made both sides suffer, while the fishermen benefited. If the foreign masters were at their peak, no one, no matter Mr. Fengzi, Kui Long, or Qi Hongyu, would take Su Yang seriously. Shang Guanwugang said coldly, Su Yang is just an insidious villain who took advantage of others' danger and got a big advantage. That's why he achieved such a record and saved Zhifeng Mountain. No matter what the process is, Su Yang will win after all, and he will severely injure the foreign masters and cause them to die or be injured. Shang Guanwuyuan said, nowadays, there is nothing to fear from foreign masters. These masters from the ancient martial arts world are like hot potatoes to us. We must let them go and throw out the hot potatoes. In this way, we will deal with the Shang Guan family. It is the most correct choice. Who said that foreign masters are not to be feared? Shang Guanwugang sneered and said, Wu Yuan, you are too naive. There are a total of 10 foreign masters coming to the earth this time. Only 4 of them went to Zhifeng Mountain last time, and there were 6 foreign experts who didn't show up. Shang Guanwugang continued, if we let go of those ancient martial arts masters now, do you think other foreign masters will spare us? Our earth is not a vegetarian. Su Yang's strength is not weak. Senior Wu Qingying has even stepped into the realm of martial saint and can challenge the peak of nascent soul. Shang Guanwuyuan was not afraid and said, even if those masters from outside the region come, they will return with hatred. You think too highly of Su Yang and Wu Qingying. They are nothing compared to experts from outside the region. Shang Guanwugang said, with a flash of killing intent in his eyes, he said coldly, but you are right about one thing. Those ancient warriors are indeed hot potatoes. If you continue to keep them, there is no guarantee that they will become stronger. Now that the ancient martial arts revolution has begun, there are a few old guys in the underground secret room who have lived for hundreds of years. With so much accumulation, nothing can happen. With this in mind, Shang Guanwugang said in a deep voice, let's do this. I suggest that those ancient warriors be executed today, leaving no one alive to avoid future troubles. Uncle, you must not. Shang Guanwuyan dissuaded, they are all leaders of famous mountains. Killing them will definitely shake the traces of the ancient martial arts world, which is against the laws of nature. What are you afraid of? They follow the ancient martial arts system, and we follow the cultivation system. Strictly speaking, we have a competitive relationship with them. Shang Guanwugang said coldly, we are on the same earth, and resources are limited. If you will become stronger, it will be harmful to us, and friction will inevitably occur. Now we can kill all the great masters in the ancient martial arts world. This is a great achievement. All cultivators on earth will be grateful to our Shang Guan family. Shang Guanwugang became more and more excited as he spoke, and then ordered, whoever comes, go to the underground secret prison immediately and kill all the ancient warriors imprisoned there. Yes. In the conference hall, several masters from the Shang Guan family immediately clasped their fists to accept the order and stood up to do it. Stop. Let me see who dares to go. Shang Guanwuyuan slapped the table and stood up, then his eyes fell on Shang Guanwugang, and said in a deep voice, Uncle, I proposed to let them go, but you not only disagreed, but instead wanted to kill them. Why is this? Don't you know that the earth is in danger now, and the immortal emperor from outside the territory is watching with eager eyes? I know Shang Guanwugang also stood up and met Shang Guanwuyuan's gaze. Then why do you still issue such an order to weaken the ancient military power of the earth? What good will it do to our Shang Guan family? Shang Guanwuyuan asked coldly. He. Shang Guanwugang showed a sneer, and then said, Wuyuan, there is something wrong with your idea. Since you know that the immortal emperor from the outer territory is the one who cares about the earth, why do you still secretly fight against the outer territory? Shang Guan Wugang said in a deep voice, "Don't think I don't know. In the past few days, you have secretly opened the Shang Guan family's treasure house, taken out countless cultivation resources, and sent them to the underground secret room to help those ancient warriors recover from their injuries. I'm afraid you have used 1/3 of the resources in the Shang Guan family's treasury, right?" Shang Guan Wugang asked. "So what?" Shang Guan Wuyuan said seriously, "They are all compatriots from the earth. The resources of the earth can be used by the people on the earth. Why not? Are all the cultivation materials on earth going to be used by people outside the territory? Uncle, I do things upright and with no regrets. It's your idea that's wrong." Shang Guan Wuyuan was angry. He. Shang Guan Wugang sneered and said, "I finally understand. You took the initiative to apply to imprison ancient martial arts masters on behalf of Mr. Fengzi, presumably to help them secretly. Wu Yuan, your idea is too naive. Really, the people of the earth are not worthy of help. They will eventually be defeated and surrender to the outside world." Shang Guan Wugang continued, "What we need to do is to spare no effort to please those outside the region. Just wait and see, it won't be long before the earth belongs to the outside world, and many dogs will be bred outside the territory." Shang Guan Wugang said without hesitation, "Only if our Shang Guan family does our best for them, can we become the most respected dog by people outside the territory, and we will surely have unlimited glory in the future. The Dongfang family, the Duanmu family, and the Xiahe family will all be crawling at our feet when the time comes." Shang Guan Wugang stared at Shang Guan Wuyuan and said coldly, "Wuyuan, if you continue to be stubborn and prevent the Shang Guan family from getting along well with the territorial diplomacy, then don't blame your uncle for being rude." "Uncle, I have been with you since I was a child, but I didn't expect you to be this kind of person." Shang Guan Wuyuan gritted his teeth and said, "However, if you want to please outside the territory, then you can't kill the ancient martial arts masters in the underground secret room. Before Mr. Fengzi left, he left an order not to kill any of them. There is still use for him to keep it." Shang Guan Wuyuan reminded, "If you kill them, Master Fengzi will definitely be angry when he finds out." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 743. Master Fengzi. Shang Guan Wugang heard this and sneered, "Haha, he will soon lose his use value and will no longer pose a threat to me. The reason why we want to keep the lives of those ancient warriors is because the immortal emperor from outside the territory wants to study the ancient martial system." Shang Guan Wugang said with a playful smile, "However, there are many ancient warriors on earth, and Wu Qingying, the first ancient warrior, is still alive. Those people will die when they die. After the immortal emperor from outside the territory comes, he will not blame me. Come here, follow my instructions. Leave none of those ancient warriors behind," Shang Guan Wugang ordered again. Many experts from the Shang Guan family present looked at Shang Guan Wuyuan and then at Shang Guan Wuyan. They were in a dilemma, not knowing who to listen to. The head of the family, Patriarch Wugang, also did it for the good of the Shang Guan family and angered the experts from outside the region, which is of no benefit to us. Yes, we have known about you opening the treasure house for a long time, but we just turned a blind eye. But now that things have reached this point, you should stop protecting the ancient martial arts world. Although you are the head of the family, Patriarch Wugang is your uncle and his status in the Shang Guan family is higher than yours. You cannot stop his orders. Just kill him. It's true what Ancestor Wugang said. The sooner we show our goodwill to outside the territory, the greater the chance that our Shang Guan family will be reused in the future." Several senior masters from the Shang Guan family at the scene began to persuade him, and they were obviously more supportive of Shang Guan Wugang. Among these masters of the older generation, There are many 8th revolution pill formation, whose strength is unfathomable, and they are the foundation of the Shangguan family. The infinity. Upon hearing this, Shangguan Wugang showed a smile and said, "You heard it, my voice is louder than yours. It seems that everyone is more willing to support me." Snort. Shangguan Wugang. When Shangguan Wuyuan heard this, he couldn't bear it anymore and said coldly, "Today, it is not your turn as an outsider to give orders to the Shangguan family." Infinite. Shangguan Wugang suddenly said in a deep voice, "You are so presumptuous. I am your uncle. When did I become an outsider? If you dare to speak rudely again, don't blame me for being rude." "Okay." Shangguan Wuyuan said coldly, "Shangguan Wugang, how long are you going to keep pretending? Don't think that I don't know your true identity." "My true identity?" Shangguan Wugang frowned and said displeasedly, "Shangguan Wuyuan, what do you want to say?" "He he." Shangguan Wuyuan sneered, "More than 100 years ago, everyone thought that there were only 3 powerful people who came to the earth. Little did they know that 4 people came to the earth that year. Lu Junting, Jian Chen, and Chang Feng crushed all the major ancient tribes and took control of the ancient tribes, causing a stir. This is why there is a saying that these 3 people came to earth." Shangguan Wuyuan said in a deep voice, "But there is still one person who has not appeared in public, hiding his identity, and came to the Shangguan family. That person is you." With that said, Shangguan Wuyuan raised his finger to Shangguan Wugang and said in a cold voice, "Shangguan Wugang, after you came to the Shangguan family, you forced my grandfather to join the Shangguan family, gave you an identity, and killed everyone who knew about this. The people responsible for this include my grandfather. But Skynet was very careful and meticulous. My father knew about this. Before he died, he told me everything." Shangguan Wuyuan gritted his teeth and said, "What, uncle? It's fake. You are not from the Shangguan family at all. You are from outside the territory. You are an outsider master who has come to the earth for the first time. My father's death must be your fault. You did this because you wanted to take over the Shangguan family as soon as possible." Shangguan Wuyuan sneered, "You even want to kill me, but you never thought that my ancestor of the Shangguan family, who has lived for hundreds of years, has taken the 9 revolution false pill and has returned to the Shangguan family. With him here to protect you, you don't dare to attack me at all, because your realm was weakened back then, and you can only be compared to the peak of pill formation, and you are slightly inferior to the fake 9-turn pill," Shangguan Wuyuan said. People from outside the territory. Many masters from the Shangguan family at the scene became alert when they heard this, and looked at Shangguan Wugang's expression with a bit of complexity. "Ha ha." Upon hearing this, Shangguan Wugang stopped pretending and sneered, "Wuyuan, I didn't expect you to know my identity a long time ago. You also know that your grandfather and father died in my hands. In this case, I won't pretend anymore. You are right. There were indeed 4 extraterrestrial masters who came to Earth at the same time, and I was the 4th one." Shangguan Wugang continued, "The Earth has been glorious in the past. Naturally, I will not show off like those 3 guys. Instead, the moment I came to the Earth, I parted ways with them and went into hibernation to observe the changes. Sure enough, Lu Junting, Jian Chen, and Chang Feng met Suwuji. Suwuji alone was naturally nothing to be afraid of. They were all at the peak of nascent soul at that time and could easily kill Suwuji." Shangguan Wugang continued, "However, the person behind Suwuji is very powerful, and his strength is not weaker than that of my master Yanlong Immortal Emperor. But that person, for some reason, did not obliterate the 3 of Lu Junting. He only weakened their realm and made them reach the peak of the core formation. Suwuji is also really powerful. With his own strength, he can compete with the 3 peak pill formations and remain invincible." Shangguan Wugang sneered, but Suwuji couldn't kill the three of them, so the three of them, Lu Junting, survived, and then took over the three major forces of Kunlun, Dongfang, and Nangong. At the beginning, I was secretly happy. I was lucky to have escaped a disaster. But with the strength of that powerful man, how could he not notice my existence? I can hide it from others, but I can't hide it from him. Shangguan Wugeng recalled, in the end, he found me. He also didn't kill me, but only weakened my realm. Since then, I have been deeply jealous of the earth, and I don't dare to act unscrupulously. That's why I forced your grandfather to give me a false identity. At that time, the ancestor of the Shangguan family, who had lived for hundreds of years, went out to travel and was not in the Shangguan family. Naturally, your grandfather did not dare to disobey me, so I naturally entered the Shangguan family. Shangguan Wugeng sneered, what happens next is just as you said, but I didn't expect, Shangguan Wuyan, that you would be so forbearing. You know my identity clearly and know that I killed your grandfather and father, but you have treated me with respect and called me uncle all these years. Shangguan Wugeng looked at Shangguan Wuyuan and praised, you are very good, you are very scheming. It's a pity that after you said these words today, I will naturally not keep you. After saying this, Shangguan Wugeng's face darkened, and a strong killing intent emerged in his eyes. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 744. Snort. When Shangguan Wuyuan heard this, he snorted coldly and said, Shangguan Wugeng, I didn't expose you before, just because I didn't want to alert others. Before you were exposed, people from outside the country would definitely not embarrass the Shangguan family. But today, you want to issue orders on my behalf and slaughter many ancient warriors. Naturally, I will not tolerate you. Since I dare to identify you clearly, how can I be afraid of you? Shangguan Wuyuan sneered, now, there are 3 8th-level fake elixirs from my Shangguan family here. Even if they can't kill you, you can't even think about doing evil. 3 of you, I leave this extraterrestrial villain to you. Kill the best one you can. If you can't kill him, force him away. Shangguan Wuyan ordered, when the ancestor returns, it will not be too late to kill him. Others, stay back. This person is at the pinnacle of elixir formation, not an 8th-level fake elixir, so it doesn't make much sense to take action. After saying that, Shangguan Wuyuan took the lead to retreat, and other senior officials at the scene also followed suit. Only 3 rank 8 fake elixirs remained in place, staring at Shangguan Wugeng with unkind expressions. Hee hee. Seeing this, Shangguan Wugeng suddenly emitted a terrifying spiritual energy fluctuation, and sneered, 3 of you, you must think clearly. If you go against the outside world, you will definitely not end well. If you surrender to me, kill Shangguan Wuyuan, and let me take over the Shangguan family, I promise you that I will never treat you badly in the future. I can even introduce you to the Yanlong Immortal Emperor and take you outside the territory to pursue the fruit of immortality. Shangguan Wugeng said. Shut up, Shangguan Wugeng. There can be disagreements within our Shangguan family, and we can also submit to outside the territory, but we will never kill each other. Yes, I thought you were from the Shangguan family. I have spoken for you before and I quite agree with your statement. But if you are from outside the territory and dare to be rude to the family master, then I won't be able to keep you. Only members of the Shangguan family can decide the direction of the Shangguan family. You, an outsider, are not qualified. As soon as the words fell, 3 rank 8 fake elixirs took action at the same time, launching an attack on Shangguan Wugeng. Snort. You are so shameless. Do you really think you 3 can defeat me? Seeing this, Shangguan Wugeng raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth, and then his aura suddenly changed dramatically, and a terrifying pressure swept over him. Subsequently, he suddenly took action and faced 3 rank 8 fake elixirs. In just a dozen rounds, he defeated all 3 of them. At this time, the 3 rank -8 fake elixirs fell to the ground, vomiting blood and looking extremely pale. Nascent soul, you have actually stepped into the realm of nascent soul. Shang Guanwuyuan's expression changed drastically when he saw this. Good. Shang Guanwugang said with a playful smile, you have been lurking in the Shang Guan family for so many years. Do you really think that I have made no progress? Long ago, I was the nascent soul. If I hadn't found any trace of your ancestors, I would have conquered the Shang Guan family by force. Shang Guanwugang continued, but now, since you already know my identity, I won't pretend anymore. Those 3 rank -8 fake elixirs are no match for me. Why don't the ancestors of the Shang Guan family show up yet? Shang Guanwugang said in a calm tone, but he did not dare to be careless in his heart and guarded against the surroundings vigilantly. The 9 turns false pill is extremely terrifying and cannot be reached by ordinary people. Shang Guanwugang once felt the aura of Shangguan's ancestors. At that time, he was still at the peak of Den formation and was extremely fearful. Even now that he has entered the early stage of nascent soul, Shang Guanwugang still feels palpitated when he thinks back on it, wondering whether he can defeat the 9 revolution false pill. Over the years, he has not conquered the Shang Guan family because he was afraid of his ancestors. Strangely enough, the ancestor of the Shang Guan family has not been seen for decades. Shang Guanwugang inquired about the whereabouts of his ancestors more than once, but found nothing. Shang Guanwugang naturally did not dare to act rashly without solving his ancestors. But now that his identity was exposed, Shang Guanwugang had no choice but to take the risk and give it a try. Even if he loses to his ancestors, he is sure to escape. When the time comes, he will find other experts from outside the region to come. It will not be a big problem to control the Shang Guan family. At most, he will have less resources. Ancestor, if you don't show up now, when will you wait? Shang Guanwugang spoke again, looking around at the same time. However, everyone at the scene was silent. Shang Guanwuyuan was already protected by many senior members of the Shang Guan family, and his ancestor never showed up. Snort. Since you refuse to show up, don't blame me for going on a killing spree. Shang Guanwugang, who was not far away, learned Su Yang's identity through conversation. His face suddenly changed wildly, and there was a trace of fear in his eyes. As for the person who took action earlier, he did not respond to Shang Guanwugang, but stood respectfully next to the young man who came after him. Coupled with the fact that the middle-aged man taking action next to him could repel him, he would definitely not be able to stay here any longer. In an instant, the Void Tower suddenly flew towards Shang Guanwugang with terrifying power. I was lucky enough to meet my young master. I have met Mr. Su and I have admired him for a long time. Shang Guanwuyuan heard this and greeted him politely. Although he looked down on Su Yang before and felt that Su Yang was just opportunistic and taking advantage of others' danger. Boom. You can't leave. But at this moment, a figure suddenly shot out, blocking Shang Guanwugang's attack and sending it flying away. But Shang Guanwugang understood that Su Yang's strength was far beyond his own. Shang Guanwuyuan was like a fan meeting his idol, and said excitedly, I have heard about Jufeng Mountain. Mr. Su showed his power and boosted the morale of our planet. He is really a role model for our generation. No, what I have done is too small and insignificant. It cannot compare to Mr. Su. Seeing this, Su Yang narrowed his eyes slightly, and with a thought, the Void Tower appeared. The young man who stepped forward was naturally Su Yang, and the one who took action earlier was Su King Ai. Shang Guanwugang showed a sneer, and then took action to kill Shang Guanwuyuan with overwhelming power. Who are you? It's just that, brother King Ai, the earth is ominous. How did you defeat the ominous situation? Shang Guanwuyuan asked curiously. Su Yang nodded lightly, and then said, Master Shangguan, we have been listening outside for a while, and we admire you very much. Now that you are serious, just leave the rest to us. Master Shangguan, you are so polite. You fought for the opportunity to imprison the ancient warriors and opened the treasure house to help them recover from their injuries. With the earth in mind, I should help you. Su Yang admired Shangguan Wuyuan very much. Shangguan Wuyuan looked at Su King Ai, and then said with emotion, I didn't expect that brother King Ai has already stepped into the realm of Yuanying today. I am so happy and congratulated. Thank you so much, Mr. Su. Shangguan Wuyuan hurriedly clasped his fists in thanks. Brother King Ai. Su King Ai nodded, smiled softly and said, Brother Wuyuan, long time no see. At the same time, another person stepped forward with a faint smile on his face. Haha, it's been decades since you and I last said goodbye. At this time, Shangguan Wuyuan recognized Su King Ai and greeted him with a happy face. After stabilizing his figure, Shangguan Wugang stared at the person who made the move, with a strong look of fear in his eyes. He. Want to leave? A descendant of the Su family, Su Yang. Therefore, Shangguan Wugang did not hesitate at all and immediately ran away. Su King Ai showed a smile, and then introduced, Brother Wuyuan, this is my young master, Su Yang, a descendant of the Su family. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 745. Boom. Following a sound, Shangguan Wugang didn't even have a chance to resist. He was directly killed by the Void Tower and turned into a pool of blood, completely dead. Wow. This scene immediately caused an uproar on the scene. Except for Su King Ai, everyone's face showed strong shock. With just one move, he actually killed an outsider master in the nascent soul realm. Well, what a terrifying strength. He is a descendant of the Su family. No wonder Zhifeng Mountain can achieve great victory. Mr. Su's skills are astonishing. We were deceived by Shangguan Wugang. There are so many outstanding people on earth. How could we not be able to resist in the face of foreign masters? From now on, I will follow Mr. Su, protect the earth, and resolutely resist the invasion from outside the territory. For a moment, many masters from the Shangguan family looked at Su Yang in awe. Seeing this, Su Yang showed a faint smile. Shangguan Wugang is only in the early stage of nascent soul. Even if he uses the Void Tower, Su Yang is sure to crush him easily. Moreover, even if Su Yang doesn't take action, Su King Ai can do it for him, it just requires some effort. However, Su Yang chose to directly use the Void Tower to kill Shangguan Wugang in an instant with a tyrannical attitude. The purpose was to scare these lowly Shangguan family members. Some of you said before that the Shangguan family can surrender to outside the territory. I strongly disagree with this. Su Yang waved and took back the Void Tower, then looked around at the crowd and said in a calm tone, if you are forced by outsiders, I will naturally not force you to generously serve the earth, and I have no right to morally kidnap anyone. However, if people on earth take the initiative to express their goodwill to outside the territory and seek refuge outside the territory for the sake of profit, then don't blame me for being rude. Su Yang's eyes were sharp and he said in a cold voice, listen, anyone who takes the initiative to surrender is my enemy, Su Yang. I will kill them if they rise to poverty or fall into hell. As he spoke, Su Yang exuded a powerful force that swept the entire audience. All the senior officials of the Shangguan family present, including the 3 level 8 fake elixirs, were trembling with fear, their eyes full of fear, and they lowered their heads and did not dare to face Su Yang. What Mr. Su said is absolutely true. At this time, Shangguan Wuyuan stood up and said, for the sake of the Shangguan family and to stabilize Shangguan Wugang, there are some things that I was not comfortable saying. But from now on, the people of my Shangguan family can only die standing up, and will never kneel at the feet of foreigners and live in vain. Shang Guan Wuyuan said in a deep voice, whoever disobeys this rule will no longer be a member of the Shang Guan family. I will personally clean up the family as a warning to others. Yes. When the head of the family spoke, everyone in the Shang Guan family responded. Master Su. Afterwards, Shang Guan Wuyuan looked at Su Yang, clasped his fists and said, the current family tradition of the Shang Guan family is indeed not very good, and this is directly related to my management. But don't worry, after today, I will strengthen the construction in this area and let them know that the earth will always be the earth of the earth people, and we will fight with the outsiders until death, Shang Guan Wuyuan said seriously. Su Yang nodded and said, I don't mean anything else when I say this today. I just want to remind you that the Shang Guan family does not need to worry about it. I have seen your character clearly before. I believe that under your leadership, the Shang Guan family will not care about you, it will go astray. Thank you Mr. Su for your trust, Shang Guan Wuyuan said politely. You're worth it. Su Yang smiled, and then said, where are the ancient warriors captured by Mr. Fengzi? Take me there. Yes, Mr. Su, please come this way. Shang Guan Wuyuan showed extraordinary respect for Su Yang and personally led the way. A few minutes later, under the leadership of Shang Guan Wuyuan, Su Yang, Su Qing'ai and a group of people walked into the underground secret room. Master Su, this underground secret room has a history of thousands of years. The family heads of the past generations have repaired and strengthened it. In addition to being a place of cultivation, it will also be used as a secret prison. Shang Guan Wuyuan led the way and said with a smile, Shi Han in the place of Zen, the philanthropic master of Mount Imei, the abbot Yuan Tong of Mount Bodhi, the old man of Lishan between the mountains and the sea, Zhang Tianli of Fenyang City, many ancient martial arts masters have been imprisoned here. They were all seriously injured originally, so I simply provided some resources. Now their injuries have probably recovered. Shang Guan Wuyuan continued, don't worry, Mr. Su. I have taken care of their food and daily life. They say they are imprisoned. In fact, when they come here, it is equivalent to changing their place to practice. They are in good condition now. Thanks a lot. Su Yang nodded, and at the same time his eyes fell on Shang Guan Wuyuan. He looked at it carefully for a few times and then showed a look of surprise. Soul. The power of Shang Guan Wuyuan's soul is so powerful, and judging from the soul, Shang Guan Wuyuan is at least more than 500 years old. But this shouldn't be the case. Logically speaking, Shang Guan Wuyuan is only a few hundred years old at most. How could he have a soul that is more than 500 years old? Besides, Shang Guan Wuyuan's strength must be hidden. On the surface, he is just a 4th level fake elixir. But in fact, Su Yang noticed that the spiritual energy fluctuations in his body were much stronger than those 3 8th level fake elixirs. 9 turns. If nothing else, Shang Guan Wuyuan should be the 9 revolution false pill. The Shang Guan family has a fake 9-turn elixir. Su Yang heard the conversation between Shang Guan Wuyuan and Shang Guan Wugeng earlier. But isn't that 9-turn fake pill the ancestor of the Shang Guan family? Did Shang Guan Wuyuan also achieve this achievement secretly? Since Shang Guan Wuyuan is a fake 9-turn elixir, why didn't he take action just now? The 9 turns false pill can compete with the early stage of nascent soul, and may even overwhelm the early stage of nascent soul. He could obviously solve it by himself, but he hid his strength and didn't take action, which was a bit abnormal. When something goes wrong, there must be a monster. Su Yang kept an eye on it and followed Shang Guan Wuyuan silently, wanting to see what he was planning. Soon, Su Yang realized that there was indeed something fishy about Shang Guan Wuyuan. He had already sensed the location where Shi Han and others were imprisoned, which was at 8 o'clock. But Shang Guan Wuyuan took Su Yang and Su Qing'ai in the opposite direction, going in opposite directions, going further and further away. Master Su, please come this way. Passing through this altar is the secret prison where ancient martial arts masters are imprisoned. At this time, Shangguan Weiyuan stopped and said with a smile, Master Su, Brother King I, you go to save people, I won't let you go there together. I will prepare some food and hold a banquet at Shangguan's house later, to celebrate Mr. Su's victory in Jufeng Mountain. After saying that, Shangguan Weiyuan was about to go back. But at this time, Su Yang stopped him and raised a playful smile, Master of the Shangguan family, let's go together. You are familiar with this place. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 746. Upon hearing Su Yang's words, Shangguan Weiyuan stopped and a strange color flashed in his eyes. But then, Shangguan Weiyuan turned around and smiled softly, Master Su, didn't I already show you the way? You can see the secret prison where the ancient warriors are imprisoned after passing through the altar. The secret prison has no lock, but the ancient martial arts masters are tied up with iron chains and fixed in the secret room. Shangguan Weiyuan continued, as for those iron chains, Mr. Su's strength can be easily broken. I will sweep the couch outside and wait for you to come out and have a drink. In addition to celebrating your victory, I, the Shangguan family, can also be considered as apologizing for those ancient warriors. Shangguan Weiyuan said with a guilty face, no matter what the reason was, our Shangguan family imprisoned them after all, and we should apologize. He. When Su Yang heard this, the corners of his mouth turned upward and he said, Master Shangguan, I don't understand this. Since we are just a few steps away from the altar, why are you so repulsive and unwilling to come with us? This. When Shangguan Weiyuan heard this, the strange color in his eyes became more obvious, but it disappeared in an instant. He smiled and said, Master Su, it's not that I refuse, I'm going to go out to prepare meals. You don't use this to prevaricate me. Su Yang's face instantly turned cold, and he said in a deep voice, Master of the Shangguan family, tell me, what are you planning? Master Su, what do you mean? Why can't I understand you? Shangguan Weiyuan's expression changed slightly. Can't understand. Haha, then I'll tell you. Su Yang sneered again and again, then pointed at the altar and said coldly, if I read correctly, this altar is not an ordinary altar. There is a formation in it. This formation is very powerful. It is a killing formation, and it has tens of thousands of low-grade spiritual stones and one top-grade spiritual stone as energy to maintain the operation of the formation. Su Yang revealed, once the formation is activated, cultivators below the level of a god cannot even think of walking out of this formation alive. Shangguan Weiyuan, what are your plans for bringing us here and guiding us to step into the altar? At this point, a murderous intent emerged in Su Yang's eyes, and a terrifying power swept the entire place instantly. Just now, he noticed that something was wrong with Shangguan Weiyuan. It was obviously a fake 9-turn elixir, but he hid his strength and deliberately took it in the wrong direction. But Su Yang didn't know what Shangguan Weiyuan wanted to do, so he didn't reveal it. It wasn't until he saw the altar that he realized that this bitch Shangguan Weiyuan had evil intentions and probably wanted to use the altar to keep him and Su King I here. Therefore, Su Yang directly revealed that he was full of murderous intentions towards Shangguan Weiyuan. Su, Mr. Su. Shangguan Weiyuan was obviously flustered, but on the surface he was confused. Killing formation, what killing formation? I have lived in the Shangguan family for more than 100 years, and I often walk on the altar. I have never heard of any killing formations here. Are you mistaken? Shangguan Weiyuan said with a forced smile. Brother Weiyuan, what on earth is going on? Su King Ai next to her reacted, gritted her teeth and asked, "My young master is proficient in formations and will never misread them. You'd better recruit them truthfully, otherwise don't blame me for not cherishing our friendship for many years." "Brother King I don't know either." Shangguan Weiyuan pretended to be innocent and said with a wry smile, "How could our Shangguan family have such a powerful formation? If so, how could we have been enslaved by Shangguan Wugang for so long? Mr. Su must have been too vigilant and made a mistake." He. "Whether I made a mistake, I'll tell you once I try it." Su Yang smiled softly, and then strode towards the altar, as if nothing had happened and didn't care about the so-called killing array. "Young master." Seeing this, Su King Ai hurriedly said, "Didn't you say that there is a killing array? Even the transformed spirit cannot get out, so you must not take risks yourself." "It doesn't matter." Su Yang shook his head and continued walking forward. In this way, Su Yang soon arrived at the center of the altar under the gazes of Su King Ai and Shangguan Weiyuan. Of course, Su King Ai didn't need to ask, her face was full of worry, but she was relieved when she saw that the altar had not changed. However, Shangguan Weiyuan next to him was breathing rapidly and staring at Su Yang intently, looking a little crazy. When he saw Su Yang reaching the right position, Shangguan Weiyuan's eyes flashed with a look of successful conspiracy, and he quickly performed the secret with both hands. Buzz! In an instant, the originally peaceful altar suddenly underwent huge changes. An incomparably huge energy rose from the ground, like a round bowl, completely covering Su Yang. Immediately afterwards, within the round bowl, the sword energy was vertical and horizontal, the light was shining, and it exuded a heart-stopping power. Ha ha ha! Seeing that Su Yang was trapped, Shangguan Weiyuan burst out with a proud laugh. "Su Yang, a young man, has entered the 10,000 swords formation of my Shangguan family. If he has not transformed into a god, there is no way he can escape. I admit that you are very strong, but unfortunately, you are only nascent soul after all. You will definitely die today." Shangguan Weiyuan turned around faster than turning the page in a book. He changed from his normal state, his eyes were full of indifference. Shangguan Weiyuan. When Su King Ai realized something was wrong, she suddenly became furious and said in a deep voice, "You really have bad intentions. I have misjudged you all these years. Hey, young man in King Ai." Shangguan Weiyuan met Su King Ai's gaze, feeling slightly guilty, and sighed, "But I can't help it, I have no choice but to do this." "Humph, don't make excuses." Su King Ai said coldly, "Open the formation immediately and release my young master, otherwise don't blame me for not remembering old feelings and destroying Shangguan man's family. You don't have the strength yet." When Shangguan Weiyuan heard this, he no longer hid his realm. In an instant, the power of the 9-turn fake pill swept the entire audience. "I am the 9-turn fake pill, and you are only in the middle stage of nascent soul. Under normal circumstances, I may not be your opponent, but with the 10,000 sword formation here, I am sure to kill you." Shangguan Weiyuan smiled and said, "The 10,000 sword formation does not mean you will be attacked only when you step on it. As long as I control the 10,000 sword formation, it can also actively attack, but its power is relatively weaker." Shangguan Weiyuan chuckled and said, "The strength of Su Yang's younger generation is really scary, so I don't dare to open the 10,000 swords formation rashly, so I have to find ways to introduce him into the formation. But, King Ai young man, I don't have so many worries about dealing with you." Shangguan Weiyuan said, his face darkened, and he said in a cold voice, "For the sake of your long-term friendship with Weiyuan, as long as you leave now, I can let you go. I will give you 10 seconds, no waiting." "Wrong." Su King Ai noticed something was wrong and frowned, "You are not Shangguan Weiyuan, tell me who you are." He. Shangguan Weiyuan showed a smile and said, "As of now, I have no intention of hiding it. I am the ancestor of the Shangguan family. As for the name, it is too old to mention it. Shangguan Weiyuan continued, I took over Shangguan Weiyuan's body, and now I am Shangguan Weiyan, ancestor of the Shangguan family. Suking I asked, what did you do to Shangguan Weiyuan? Did you forcefully occupy his body for the sake of cultivation? Humph, what a despicable method to do this to your own descendants. You shut up. When Shangguan Weiyan heard this, he suddenly became angry and shouted, Weiyan him, I didn't kill him. I have watched this child grow up. I have high hopes for him and expect him to take over the Shangguan family in the future. How can I harm him? He went crazy while practicing martial arts on his own and has to die. Weiyuan has been stubborn and strong since he was a child. Ever since he learned about the death of his father and grandfather, he has been practicing day and night. The purpose is to become stronger, obliterate Shangguan Wugang, and avenge his relatives. But, when it comes to cultivation, you can't be too hasty. If you rush for success, you will only fall into the abyss. When Shangguan Weiyuan said this, his eyes were red and there were tears in his eyes. He said with a sad face, finally one day, he couldn't hold on any longer and found me. Even if I sacrifice myself, I can't save myself. I can only watch Weiyuan die. Shangguan Weiyan recalled, before he died, Weiyan told me that I must take revenge and kill Shangguan Wugang to ensure the prosperity of Shangguan family. This is the boundless last wish. As an ancestor, how can I ignore it? Shangguan Weiyan continued, therefore, after Weiyuan left, I used my secret technique to control Weiyan's body. Since then, I have lived for his last wish. Over the years, I have hidden my strength and looked for opportunities to obliterate Shangguan Wugang. Shangguan Weiyuan smiled bitterly and said, but, Shangguan Wugang has already entered the nascent soul realm, and now there are so many foreign masters on earth, how can I dare to act rashly? Even if I kill Shangguan Wugang, I'm afraid the Shangguan family will fall into an irreversible situation. Shangguan Weiyuan's expression changed, his eyes full of greed. If I want to make the Shangguan family strong and not be bullied, I need to become stronger. Only in this way can I fulfill Weiyuan's last wish. Su Yang is a descendant of Suwuji, and he possesses a 9-story glazed pagoda, which is a treasure. Moreover, Su Wuzi has a very good relationship with that powerful man. As a descendant of Su Yang must have powerful cultivation methods. Shangguan Weiyuan sneered, so, I have already had thoughts about Su Yang. But I was not sure whether I could touch him, so I tried my best to get the opportunity to imprison those ancient warriors in front of Mr. Fengzi. Shangguan Weiyuan then smiled and said, I know that among those ancient warriors, there is Su Yang's grandfather, and Su Yang is the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance, so he will definitely come to save them. I will stay at home, wait and see, and remain unchanged in the face of all changes. As long as Su Yang dares to come, I will trap him with 10,000 sword formations and demand the 9-story glazed tower and various cultivation methods. Shangguan Weiyuan smiled with satisfaction, now, my plan has been successful, ha ha ha. Snored. Suking I said angrily, I'm warning you, my young master is the key to spiritual energy recovery, but you use a killing array to deal with him, aren't you afraid of becoming a public enemy of cultivators on earth? Also, if my young master is gone, the spiritual energy cannot be revived, and it will be of no benefit to you. Suking I threatened, let my young master go, I promise you that this matter will be forgotten. Haha, this is absolutely impossible. Shangguan Weiyuan sneered, if I get the 9-story glazed tower, what does the revival of spiritual energy have to do with me? Don't think I don't know. That treasure can counteract the bad luck. Now that I have the 9 revolution false pill, and with the 9-story glazed pagoda, I can break through the realm without limit. I may have a chance to reach the God transformation. Shangguan Weiyuan laughed heartily and said, at that time, who dares to offend the Shangguan family? So what if masters from outside the territory come? I'm just a nascent soul, so I don't have anything to fear. If they swarm them, I don't care at all. Young man in King Ai, 10 seconds have passed long ago. I should have killed you. Shangguan Wein continued, however, I only want the treasure and the secret skills today, so let's go. So King Ai naturally would not leave, and was about to say something when there was movement in the 10,000 swords formation. Clang! 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 Clear sounds sounded one after another, and the sword light in the 10,000 sword formation began to kill Su Yang. Just in case, Shangguan Weiyuan fully activated the 10,000 sword formation, so the outside could not see what was happening inside. They only knew that the formation was launching an attack on Su Yang. Su Yang, your strength is indeed not weak, you actually carried it for a long time. Seeing this, Shangguan Weiyuan smiled softly and said, however, this is of no use. You will definitely die within a quarter of an hour. I just said that today I only want to practice the 9-story glazed tower and practice secret techniques. If you are willing to leave it to me, I promise not to kill you. Shangguan Weiyuan said seriously, you are a descendant of Suwuji. Your cultivation talent is amazing. You have gone from foundation building to nascent soul in half a year. I admire you. Coupled with the fact that you started the transformation of ancient martial arts and started the revival of spiritual energy for cultivators on earth, my actions are admirable. Shangguan Weiyuan looked at the 10,000 sword formation, and then said, I also want to see the cultivators on the earth. Everyone can ignore the ominous situation. I also want to see the earth, with the spiritual energy reviving everywhere. Su Yang, if you can agree to my conditions, I swear to God that I will never kill you and let you leave the Shangguan family immediately. If you violate this oath, you will be destroyed by heaven and earth, Shangguan Weiyuan swore. Haha, no need. At this time, Su Yang's voice came out, and then the Wanjian formation became quiet. Next moment, for some reason, the 10,000 sword formation disappeared, and Yuanbo completely disappeared. Then you can see the void tower above Su Yang's head, his whole body wrapped in thousands of rays of light, and he slowly walks down from the altar. It's just a small formation, it can't do anything to me. Stopping 3 meters away from Shangguan Weiyuan, Su Yang thought about it, put away the void tower, and said with a raised corner of his mouth, Master of the Shangguan family, now we should talk about how to settle this account. 10,000 sword formation. Su Yang naturally saw it, and was even very familiar with the layout techniques. If he was given time, he could easily crack it, so he walked into the 10,000 swords formation unscrupulously. Also, Su Yang wanted to use the attack of the 10,000 sword formation to test the power of the 6-story void tower. The void tower did not disappoint him. Even if Su Yang didn't move the formation, as long as he used the void tower, he would still be safe. When Shangguan Weiyuan saw Su Yang come out intact, his face suddenly changed, and his eyes were filled with despair. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 747. The Shangguan family is originally a family left over from the pre-Qin period. It has a profound background and has been passed down for thousands of years. This 10,000 sword formation was arranged by Ruo, a great man from Tongtian more than 100 years ago, just in case. Then, the great man of Tongtian has benefited from all directions and arranged formations for many forces, and the Shangguan family is naturally among them. The person who controls Shangguan Weiyuan's body now is the ancestor of the Shangguan family, who has lived for 500 years. Although he had met the great man who reached the sky, he knew how powerful the 10,000 sword formation was, and those who were below the level of God transformation would definitely be obliterated by the 10,000 sword formation. But Su Yang not only walked out of the 10,000 swords formation alive, but also intact and without any injuries on his body. This is incredible. However, after seeing the small tower above Su Yang's head, Shangguan Weiyuan immediately understood. Su Yang must have used the 9-story glazed tower, the most precious treasure, to get out of the 10,000 swords formation unscathed. No matter what method Su Yang used, in short, now that he was out of the 10,000 sword formation, he was far from Su Yang's opponent. The only thing waiting for him was death. Thump. After reacting, Shangguan Weiyuan knelt directly on the ground and begged, "Master Su, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I shouldn't be thinking about your treasure and secret technique. This is just my decision. If you want to kill, just kill me. Please don't involve the Shangguan family. They don't know." At the end, Shangguan Weiyuan kowtowed 3 times, acting very humble. He didn't even have the courage to look at Su Yang. He was completely different from before. Su Yang's eyes fell on Shangguan Weiyuan and said coldly, "Stand up." Shangguan Weiyuan did not dare to disobey Su Yang's wishes and stood up tremblingly, his eyes red. "Shangguan Weiyuan." Su Yang said calmly, "You have occupied Shangguan Weiyuan's body, which is equivalent to living on his behalf. I call you that, is it okay?" No. Shangguan Weiyuan nodded hastily. Su Yang nodded lightly, and then said, "Don't worry, I won't kill you today. You don't need to be so afraid of me." "Thank you so much, Mr. Su." Shangguan Weiyuan breathed a sigh of relief, feeling relieved. "There have been many people who want to kill me during this period, but it is no surprise that as long as I have the chance, I will definitely not show mercy to those people." Su Yang said seriously, "I am not a soft-hearted person. I will kill anyone who wants to kill me. However, you are an exception. I can make an exception and not kill you." "Thank you, Mr. Su, for your kindness." Shangguan Weiyuan thanked him again. "Don't thank me. If you want to thank me, just thank yourself." Su Yang stared at Shangguan Weiyuan and said, "Some of your own remarks just now saved your life. If you don't kill Su Qing'ai, you want to let him go, and you also show your attitude. I hope that the spiritual energy recovery will be successful, and that everyone on the earth can ignore the ominous situation." Su Yang continued, "It can be seen from this that your nature is still good and you have great ambitions. As for attacking me and coveting my treasures and skills, it's just a moment of confusion, which can be forgiven." When Shangguan Weiyuan heard this, he was full of gratitude to Su Yang, and at the same time he was extremely ashamed, lowered his head and remained silent. This Su Yang is only in his 20s. He is in the nascent soul realm at such a young age, and he has controlled the treasure of that great man. He is also the chosen one, and has started the revolution in ancient martial arts. His achievements in the future are bound to be limitless. But if you don't agree, you will definitely lose all your cultivation. "Thank you, Master. I will serve you in the future," Shangguan Weiyuan said respectfully. Su Yang smiled and said, "Now you are a 9-turn fake elixir. You have been accumulating it for 500 years. If you can ignore the ominous situation, are you sure you can achieve the goal of transforming into a god?" "Yes, it is my duty to serve my master," Shangguan Weiyuan said in awe. Su Yang nodded with satisfaction, and then asked, "If you have enough resources, how long will it take you to succeed?" "It doesn't matter in the future, let's start now. A good bird chooses a tree to roost in. If you can lead the Shangguan family on your behalf, following such a young genius may not necessarily be a bad thing. 2 or 3 days, I hope I can catch up." This. Shangguan Weiyuan looked at the master-servant contract in front of him and hesitated a little, not knowing what to make for a while. Uncertain. Becoming a god in half a step, that's not bad. Shangguan Weiyuan was particularly excited. He took the golden scales with trembling hands, bent down and said gratefully, "Thank you, Master. But I have a vague feeling that I can at least advance to half-step to become a god," Shangguan Weiyuan said confidently. After weighing the pros and cons, Shangguan Weiyuan finally gritted his teeth, chose to follow Su Yang, and signed a master-servant contract. "Although I won't kill you, I won't let you go so easily." Su Yang then said, "From now on, you must obey my orders and be my slave. You must not disobey my orders. If you agree, you will sign a master-servant contract." Su Yang has a principle. Now, if I, as the ancestor of the Shangguan family, become Su Yang's slave, wouldn't that mean that the entire Shangguan family is Su Yang's slave? Very good. If you don't want to, I will destroy your Ki and turn you into an ordinary person. You can choose to live the rest of your life. After saying that, Su Yang made a secret with both hands, and soon there was a soul contract floating in front of Shangguan Weiyuan. "Well, you're welcome. You are my slave now. Helping you improve your strength is what I should do." Su Yang thought for a while, and then said, "Shangguan Weiyuan, go and deal with the affairs of the Shangguan family. Leave with me later. I will provide you with a place to practice. When the spiritual energy is revived, I may need your help." Shangguan Weiyuan said truthfully, "No one has ever tried it, so I don't know very well." Seeing this, Su Yang smiled, "Soon you will know what an important decision it is to follow me. Now that the earth is in such chaos, how long can the Shangguan family survive without his 9-turn false pill?" Su Yang smiled softly, and then with a thought, there was a golden scale in his palm, which he gave to Shangguan Weiyuan, and said, "I got this from the Shangguan Wugang just now. Take it, it can offset the bad luck for you. With it, you can advance without limit, and the realm of fake elixirs will not be good after all. If he dies in the future, how can he have the face to meet the ancestors of the Shangguan family? Soon, 2 or 3 days will be enough," Shangguan Weiyuan said. "He is the ancestor of the Shangguan family, and the Shangguan family has been passed down for thousands of years and has dignity on earth. Or take him as a slave, so that the other party will never escape from his grasp forever. It has the same effect as erasing him, and he can also save him from worries. For those who want to kill him, once he fights back, either kill him to avoid future troubles." Servant. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 748. After all, Shangguan Weiyuan lived for 500 years. He quickly adjusted his position and spoke to Su Yang in an extremely respectful tone. Because he could clearly feel that as long as Su Yang had a thought, he would be driven out of his mind. "My life is in Su Yang's hands, how can I be in awe of him?" "Well, then you go ahead." Su Yang said, "By the way, let's prepare the food and drinks. The ancient warriors from the famous mountains have been worried for so long, so it's time for them to relax." "Yes." Shangguan Weiyuan agreed and then left the scene. "The young master is magnanimous and lets Shangguan Weiyuan go, and my subordinates admire him at this time," Su King I said next to him. "He is not evil by nature, and everything he does is for the Shangguan family. Otherwise, he would have been a dead man long ago." Su Yang showed a smile, and then said, "One more thing, I keep him to be of great use. There are still a few extraterrestrial masters on Earth today. When the spiritual energy revives, they will definitely go to Jiangbei." Su Yang continued, "Shangguan Weiyuan is a fake 9-turn elixir. With golden scales, the realm will advance by leaps and bounds. Those who just suppress those at the peak of nascent soul. Young master is wise." Su King I smiled. "Okay, stop flattering and go save people." Su Yang smiled softly, then took Su King I and left the altar together. As for the 10,000 sword formation, he did not destroy it, but preserved it. Not long after, Su Yang and the two came to the secret prison where many ancient warriors were imprisoned. Crash! The moment the secret cell door opened, the sound of many iron chains suddenly came from inside. Su Yang was at the door, looked up and saw at least 100 ancient warriors in ragged clothes, their hands and feet bound by iron chains, sitting cross-legged on the ground. Swish, swish, swish. Seeing someone coming in, for a moment, the eyes of all the ancient warriors on the scene fell on Su Yang. After a brief silence, the secret prison suddenly boiled with excitement, and everyone's faces showed a look of surprise, as if they had seen the dawn of hope. Alliance Leader, it's Alliance Leader Su, ha ha ha, Alliance Leader Su is here to save us. Yesterday, the head of the Shangguan family told us about Jufeng Mountain. At that time, I concluded that the leader of the Su Alliance would definitely not ignore us. Council Leader Su has changed so much. In just half a year, he has reached the realm of Yuanying, which is comparable to the peak of Yuanying. It's unbelievable. With such an alliance leader in the ancient martial arts world, why not be happy? Ha ha ha. Shut up, why do I remember that some of you have disowned the alliance leader after the Gyewu Revolution? Yes, some people have proposed that Su Yang be abolished as leader of the alliance because he is not an ancient warrior and his strength is low. Yeah, you're a bitch who tried to burn bridges, but now he's changed his mind after seeing how powerful alliance leader Su is. Bah! Everyone at the scene was very excited at first, and then some people started to complain and sneered at some of the ancient warriors. Those people did not refute, lowered their heads and remained silent, obviously full of guilt for Su Yang. Su Yang. At this time, a familiar voice came from the crowd. It was Shihan, my child, you are finally here. How have you been in the past 6 months? Grandpa. Su Yang had already noticed Shihan. Seeing that Shihan was covered in injuries, in ragged clothes, and with an old and haggard face, he felt very uncomfortable for a while. Next, Su Yang showed a smile. He had no ill intentions toward Master Charity. Su Yang smiled casually, and then stopping and unchained many ancient warriors one after another. I'm not in serious trouble, it's just that Mr. Fengzi is very clever. This iron chain has the effect of suppressing the true energy. Ha ha ha, okay. You must not embarrass him. Without him, I'm afraid we people would be miserable, Shihan pleaded. Su King I was not idle either. She and Su Yang did this together, and the speed was much faster. The person next to the charity master is none other than her beloved disciple, Zhao Zhiruo, the most outstanding talent among the young generation in Mount Ime. How could it be? Let bygones be bygones. I'm not a stingy person. Shihan smiled bitterly and said, not only me, but everyone here is the same. From the moment I was bound by the iron chain, I have been unable to use my true energy. Most of the geniuses who participated in the 100 sex martial arts competition half a year ago are here. Su Yang smiled elegantly and raised his hand to remove Zhao Zhiruo's iron chain. His movements were much gentler than those of Master Charity. Master Charity was still embarrassed to face Su Yang, so she nodded, closed her eyes and circulated her chi. Haha, Miss Zhiruo, please don't hurt Chun Bai Kai yet. I'll untie the chains for you. Among them, King Wudain also saw Su Yang, with a complicated expression. He was silent for a long time. He didn't know what to say, only endless emotions. The place of Zen, between the mountains and the sea, Mount Ime, Mount Wudain, Mount Bodhi, Mount Huashan, the Du family in Shenzhen, the Zhang family in Fenyang City. Such as Shihan, Lashan Old Man, Charity Master, Yuan Tong Abbot, Dukun, Zhang Tianli, and so on. Su Yang. The king of Wudain, the Buddhist disciple Wuji, Zhao Zhiruo, Du Fei Yang, Shi Jushan. However, the Shangguan family is a good person and treated us well. They helped us recover from our injuries. However, Due to Master Fengzi, he did not dare to untie the chains for us. In addition to the masters of the older generation, young talents from all major forces are not immune. The ancient warriors imprisoned in the secret prison this time include almost all the famous mountains and families in the ancient martial arts world. At this moment, Zhao Zhiruo looked at Su Yang with complicated eyes, bit her red lips and said, "It's been half a year since we last said goodbye. I didn't expect that it would be like this when we meet again." In short, all the powerful people from the ancient clan forces who are somewhat famous are imprisoned here. Su Yang's figure flickered and appeared in front of Shi Hehan in an instant. He raised his hand slightly and instantly removed the iron chain that bound Shi Hehan. He asked with concern, "I'll talk about my business later. Grandpa, how do you feel now?" Speaking of this, Shi Hehan seemed to have thought of something, and asked, "Su Yang, if you can find this place, you must have met the head of the Shangguan family." Grandpa, don't worry. I already know these things, and I will definitely not blame the head of the Shangguan family." Su Yang nodded, then looked at the charity master next to him, and without any hesitation, immediately broke the chain. Su Yang, I didn't speak well to you earlier, I hope you won't take it to heart." Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Now the master of the Shangguan family is preparing wine and food outside. He will wait for you to go out. He will take care of you." "Thank you," Zhao Zhiruo said shyly, lowering his head and looking at Su Yang in embarrassment. After being rescued, Mrs. Charity had a complicated expression. After thinking for a moment, she finally said. Shi Hehan laughed heartily and urged, "I will have a drink with you later and listen to you tell me what happened in the past 6 months. Don't be stunned. Go and open their chains. There are no more iron chain, I can recover by circulating my energy for a week." "Miss Hiruo, you're welcome. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 749. Half year ago. King Wudang is also the #1 genius in Wudang Mountain. Looking at the entire ancient martial arts world, there are only a handful of people who can fight with him. Only Shi Jushin, who has used the magic power of Mount Tai, and Buddha Ziwiji, who has not stopped for love for 3 years, can be compared with Wudang King Ye. Originally, Wang Ye was confident that he could defeat all the young talents and become the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance using Kimon's skills. But in the end, he was defeated by Su Yang, and he was defeated by Kimon's technique. He was convinced of the defeat. Wang Ye didn't care about the position of alliance leader. If his master hadn't asked him to participate, he wouldn't even participate in the 100 sex martial arts competition. But after losing the game, Wang Ye felt a gap in his heart. However, he felt a little better after losing to Su Yang. Although Su Yang defeated Wang Ye at that time, Wang Ye could see that Su Yang was not much stronger than him. So, in the past 6 months, Wang Ye has worked hard to practice Kimon's skills and gained a deep understanding. He thought he had caught up with Su Yang, but now he realized that the distance between him and Su Yang was getting wider and wider. An insurmountable gap. Such a huge gap created another gap for Wang Ye, so the eyes he looked at Su Yang were full of complexity. He is not the only one who feels this way, Buddha Ziwiji, Du Fei Yang, Zhao Zhiruo. The young talents in the secret prison all have the same mentality as Wang Ye. They were once Su Yang's opponents and participated in the 100 sex martial arts competition together. Now, when they see Su Yang, they can only call him leader, and they are no longer qualified to be an opponent. Among the people, only Shi Jushin didn't feel a sense of disparity when he saw how powerful Su Yang was. Instead, he was very happy and proud. "Haha, cousin, you are so powerful now. You dared to set foot in the nascent soul realm, and you also made a famous name in Jufeng Mountain. Not only did you shock the ancient martial arts world, but even the 10 ancient clans were scared to death. After the iron chains on Shi Jushin's body were removed by Su Yang, he stood up and patted Su Yang's shoulder, and said excitedly, "It's so cool to have a relative like you. Cousin, from now on, you have to cover up more, hold me." "Haha, cousin, don't worry. We are family members. If I don't take care of you, who will I take care of?" Su Yang smiled, and then asked, "By the way, eldest cousin, my mother. My aunt is just an ordinary person now, so when Mr. Fengzi broke into Mount Tai, she was not implicated, and she is still in the place of Zen. Revival of spiritual energy. Leader Su has spoken. It seems that the previous rumors are true, and it is time for the cultivators of the earth to rise. To tell you the truth, I'm not afraid of the immortal emperor from outside the realm coming to earth, I'm just afraid that he won't dare to come. Yes, after the ancient martial arts revolution, the immortal emperor from the outer territory sent 10 masters to come to the earth to cause trouble for us. The immortal emperor from the outer territory will be even more wary after the spiritual energy is revived. If the immortal emperor from the outer territory becomes furious, will the earth still have a way to survive? For a time, everyone was talking about it, and they were obviously very repelled by the revival of spiritual energy. Since Alliance Leader Su understands, please trouble Alliance Leader Su and don't worry about spiritual energy recovery, said the old man in Huafu. Su Yang naturally heard these remarks and smiled. He ignored them and was too lazy to argue with these people. At this moment, thousands of years ago, the immortal emperor from outside the territory came to the earth to clean up the powerful cultivators on the earth. He also made an ominous decision and did not allow anyone to set foot in the realm of pill formation. Since then, the earth's spiritual energy has been exhausted and it is no longer suitable for cultivators to practice. Now if the earth's spiritual energy is to be revived, the immortal emperor from outside the territory will definitely spare no effort to stop it. It'll be fine if it's okay. Secondly, the 10 ancient tribes have suppressed the earth for hundreds of thousands of years. Now the ancient martial arts reform has finally been successful. The ancient warriors have continued their journey. They can barely fight against the 10 ancient tribes. If the spiritual energy is revived, the strength of the cultivators will. If the price rises sharply, our ancient martial arts world will inevitably return to its previous state and be crushed and ruled by the 10 ancient clans. Are you making decisions for me? The old man in colorful clothes lowered his head in fear, not daring to look at Su Yang, and wanted to explain. Everyone at the scene has been rescued and is sitting cross-legged and circulating their qi. After hearing Su Yang's words, these people looked at Su Yang with different expressions. Shi Jushin smiled softly and said, "Now that the masters from outside the territory have been beaten to death by you, they are running away to death. No one can threaten us. You can go to Mount Tai with us later to meet my aunt. Do you know that although the ancient martial arts system is not weak, its existence is still short after all? If you want to grow to a height comparable to the immortal emperor, it will take a long time to accumulate. Do you think the earth can wait until that time?" However, Su Yang interrupted, "I don't do anything I'm not sure about." Su Yang's face suddenly darkened, and he said coldly, "Now the earth is in danger. I don't know when the alien emperor will come to the earth and sweep across the world. But you advise me not to promote the revival of spiritual energy. What are your intentions? Union Leader Su, please calm down. I am also thinking about the earth. If I anger the immortal emperor from outside the territory. Since I have decided to promote spiritual energy recovery, I am naturally confident in dealing with emergencies. First of all, what everyone is worried about is that the revival of spiritual energy will inevitably anger the immortal emperor from outside the territory. Yes, if a few more powerful ancient warriors appear, the immortal emperor from outside the territory will not dare to target the earth again. It can be regarded as a curve to save the earth." Su Yang said in a deep voice, Now, I want to start the spiritual energy recovery and let the Earth's cultivators participate. Let's work together to protect the Earth. Why not? Why? Su Yang looked at the old man in rich clothes and raised his eyebrows. The old man in colorful clothes met Su Yang's gaze and said truthfully, I believe that this is something that all ancient warriors do not want to see. I also ask leaders so to think twice before acting. The old man in colorful clothes first bowed and was quite respectful to Su Yang, and then said, if the immortal emperor from outside the territory is furious, judging from the current situation of the earth, it is impossible to withstand his anger, and the consequences will be unimaginable. Su Yang breathed a sigh of relief, and then said with a wry smile, I'm afraid I don't have time. The earth is still in crisis, and the spiritual energy recovery is about to start. I need to go to Jiangbei to start the spiritual energy recovery. Let me tell you, it's good as it is now. Why don't we all practice the ancient martial arts system and stop reviving the spiritual energy? The ancient warriors have become stronger. They are equally powerful. Maybe they can be compared with the immortal emperor. Leader Su Yang showed a meaningful smile and said, this revival of spiritual energy is an opportunity for the earth, and it is also an excellent bait for the immortal emperor from outside the territory. But at this time, an old man in Chinese clothes, which was already in tatters, stood up and said, you must have heard what everyone said. Why don't you think about it and ignore the spiritual energy recovery? When Su Yang heard this, he showed a displeased sneer, what you said is ultimately because you are worried that cultivators are too powerful and will bully the ancient martial arts world. Hee. Their thoughts are selfish. Anyway, the ancient martial arts reform has been successful and the ancient martial arts practitioners can practice normally. They don't care about the good and bad future of the cultivators. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 750. Bait. A bait prepared for the immortal emperor from outside the territory? What does Alliance leader Su mean? Is it possible that he is still looking forward to the arrival of the immortal emperor from outside the territory? When everyone at the scene heard Su Yang's words, their expressions changed drastically. They turned to look at Su Yang with eyes full of awe, feeling that the Alliance leader was unfathomable. As for your second point, Su Yang looked at the old man in colorful clothes and said calmly, now, I am the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance, and everyone in the world knows it. Who do you think of the cultivators on earth dare not give me face and target the ancient martial arts world? As long as I am here, no one from the two forces on the earth can even think of causing trouble. If anyone dares to break the peace, I will make them regret it for the rest of their lives. Su Yang looked around the audience and said coldly, the same is true for cultivators, and the same is true for ancient warriors. If anyone dares to break the rules, don't blame me for being rude. Quiet. As soon as these words came out, the scene instantly became quiet, and no one dared to dissuade Su Yang from promoting the recovery of spiritual energy. What these ancient warriors are most worried about is that when the cultivators become stronger, they will oppress them. But now that Su Yang has spoken, they have no worries and will naturally stop trying to dissuade him. Leader Su, I was too worried earlier and made you laugh. Please don't take it to heart. The old man in colorful clothes said respectfully, you are right. As long as you are here, there will be no conflict between ancient warriors and cultivators. I didn't expect this at first. Well, it won't happen next time. Su Yang spoke calmly, without giving him a good look, it was just a slap in the face. In fact, Su Yang understands that there is another reason why many ancient warriors reject the revival of spiritual energy, and that is cultivation resources. Spiritual energy and true energy are interconnected in many ways. Old medicinal materials can also breed true energy. If ancient warriors want to progress quickly, they can also take medicinal materials or pills. In short, there is a conflict of interest between the two parties. If the power of cultivation is weak, ancient warriors can naturally control the earth and occupy more resources. Therefore, these ancient warriors do not want to see cultivators become stronger. Su Yang saw through it, but didn't point it out. It was a step down for the old man in Chinese clothes. However, this also sounded the alarm for Su Yang. If there is a chance in the future, he must choose a person in charge of ancient martial arts and cultivation, and let that person balance the power of the two parties to avoid conflicts. After all, it is impossible for him to pay attention to these things all the time. After becoming stronger, Su Yang has plans to leave the earth, and the affairs of the Xiantian immortal domain have not been settled yet. Certainly. Considering this now, it is too far away. Su Yang is currently only at the nascent soul realm, and his strength is still too weak. As the leader, what Su Yang said makes sense. The crisis on the earth will not be resolved until the immortal emperor from outside the territory dies. At this time, Shi Han ended his cultivation state and said, "We people on earth, whether cultivators or ancient warriors, should put aside our prejudices, share the same hatred, join forces to deal with outsiders, and defend our common homeland. This is a wise move." What Master Shishin said was that I didn't think carefully before, the old man in Chinese clothes said. His name is Renkin Kaiu, and he is the head of the Yunduan section. His sect is good at body skills and is famous in the ancient martial arts world. Su Yang, you don't need to be angry because of Master Ren's words and deeds. He is also for the ancient martial arts world. His ideas may be inappropriate, but he has no selfish motives. Shi Han then looked at him and said. Su Yang nodded and said, "Grandpa, I understand." Renkin Kaiu echoed with a smile, "Relaxation is one thing, the main thing is to celebrate the success of the Soviet leader." Wang Ye's tone was full of provocation, as if he was unconvinced, but there was no malice. Owner. This time, Su Yang also wanted to relax. After the spiritual energy recovered, it would be difficult for him to have a chance to drink. "Okay, I will wait for you." In fact, it's easy to answer. After half a year of seclusion, he emerged as the nascent soul. This forced pretense made the ancient warriors at the scene more in awe of Su Yang. Wang Kongyun next to him was startled when he heard this, for fear of angering Su Yang. Provocative. Subsequently. "Haha, Mr. Wang, what are you pretending to be, you old boy? Isn't it because your fierce wife at home doesn't allow you to drink? You made an exception today. You have wanted to make an exception for the past 50 years, but your old woman doesn't give you a chance. If you want to drink, just drink." Said, there is so much foreshadowing. On each wine table, 8 cold dishes have been placed, all of which are delicacies from the mountains and seas. Therefore, Su Yang did not use spiritual energy to dissolve the alcohol, and now he was a little drunk. While drinking, Shi Han asked Su Yang what happened in the past 6 months, and Su Yang told the truth. Su Yang was sitting at the main seat, sitting at the same table with several leaders of the ancient martial arts world, such as Shi Han, Abbot Yuantong, Old Man Lishan, Wang Kongyun, and just now Renkin Kaiu, and several other highly respected elders in the ancient martial arts world. In terms of strength, I will never be able to catch up with Alliance leader Su, but with this drinking capacity, I will definitely crush him. My reputation of never getting drunk after 1,000 cups is not for nothing. Shang Guanhuian first greeted Su Yang respectfully, then turned to look at the many ancient warriors with clasped fists, and said politely, "Everyone, I am in a hurry and I am sorry for the poor hospitality." Unconsciously, it was already dark, and everyone had already had 3 drinks. After some pleasantries, everyone took their seats and started drinking happily. Shi Han stood up and said with a hearty smile, "Everyone, we have almost recovered. The head of the Shangguan family has prepared a banquet for us. Why not go out and have a drink? We have been imprisoned for so long, and it is time to relax. The difference is that the Shangguan family's courtyard environment is very beautiful, with a rockery garden and a flowing water garden, which is incompatible with the wine table. Alliance leader Su was in Jufeng Mountain, and he resisted 4 foreign masters. His achievements were very great and admirable. I would like to toast to Alliance leader Su a few more glasses tonight. What do you mean? I am now 305 years old. When I was young, I was addicted to alcohol. I drank so much that my liver became hardened. Now I have been abstaining from alcohol for 50 years. Today, in order to celebrate the success of the Soviet leader, I can say anything. This is an exception. Except for Shi Hehan, the other old men present were all in awe of Su Yang and were naturally a little uncomfortable. Su Yang. Su Yang left the secret prison with many ancient warriors. The purpose of coming to the Shangguan family this time was achieved. It is an eternal truth to be close but disrespectful. If you are too close, it is easy to ignore the difference between up and down. Pull you down, you are the only one who can drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Have you ever heard of Nanshan tumbler? That's what happened. At this time, Su Yang didn't care and drank it all in one gulp. Su Yang did not deliberately close the relationship. Sometimes he had to maintain a high profile in order to act as a deterrent. After coming out, the head of the Shangguan family had already arranged the table, just like a banquet in the countryside. At this time, King Wudang also came over, holding a wine glass in his right hand and a wine bottle in his left hand. He toasted Su Yang with a glass of wine. He raised his glass and drank it in one gulp, and then said, "I admit that you are better than me now, but just wait, one day I will definitely surpass you." For a time, the atmosphere was very harmonious. Haha, okay.